In today's video, MAVUIKA, the Pyro Archon. MAVUIKA is a 5-star Pyro character, claimer user, sub DPS and buffer for every Pyro related teams. In this video you'll find tips, talents explanations, artifact sets, weapons and more, so keep watching if you want to have the best MAVUIKA in Genshin. Join my Discord server if you want to make friends and play Genshin or other games, link in my bio. So without further ado, this is MAVUIKA's character investment and let's jump right into her active talents. With the normal attack she performs up to 4 consecutive claimer strikes, and with the charge attack she consumes a certain amount of stamina to perform the especially powerful strike toward the front, which is really cool since you can see a sun when she performs it. Anyway, she doesn't really use this talent, so let's go ahead with her kit. When you use her skill, she fully restores an ISO points and has 2 different forms. With the top mode, she firstly deals an AoE instance of pyro damage. After that, she summons a ring behind your back, as Raiden and Wanderers do. This ring will of course follow your active character and deal pyro damage to opponents from the sky. So this is really good for application and we can finally replace Shanling in some teams. The hold mode is for a sub DPS MAVUIKA, in which this mode allows her to ride her motorbike and deals nice aligned AoE pyro damage by her normal, charged and plunging attack. So yes, she can work with Shenyan, but also by sprinting. If there are any opponents on the way, she will deal damage, which is really fun, like she's really running over opponents. I'm crying. Last information of her skill is that you can switch between modes while she is in an Arch blessing state, which is really cool to me since I always misclick buttons while playing. Let's talk about her burst now. Her burst is really strange since it doesn't charge with energy recharge or particles, but instead with fighting spirit. When MAVUIKA has enough points, she can use her burst, but let's go step by step. How do we gain fighting spirit points? She can gain them via 2 different methods. The first one is with Nightline characters. When a character in the party consumes Nightfall points, with MAVUIKA in the team, those points will no longer go waste, but instead MAVUIKA will convert those points in fighting spirit points to charge her burst, so try to have at least another Nightline character in the teams with her. Instead, the second one helps you if you don't have a lot of Nightline characters, since you can also charge MAVUIKA's burst with normal attacks. So that's why MAVUIKA is a sub DPS and not a DPS. With this mechanic, you need a character that deals normal attack hits to charge her burst, but we don't have supports in Genshin that stays on field to deal normal attack hits. So at this point, a DPS is the greater choice since you have more chances to deal normal attack hits with a DPS even if they don't use normal attack to fight, and also a really strong support in damage from MAVUIKA when you have her burst, which is really strong. So after this, when you finally use her burst, she will enter the Night's blessing state with 10 Night's points, which you may think it could be a problem, but it's not actually, since when she uses her burst, she no longer consumes Night's points, so 10 Night's points, it's not a problem. The damage she deals is increased by the fighting spirit points she had when using the burst, and also she has a resistance to interruption increased, which is really good. So the level priority is burst, skill and last normal attack. Let's have a look at her passive talents now. With the first one, when a character in the team triggers a Night's burst, MAVUIKA will have her attack increased, which is really good for her performances and also works really well if you have another Nightline character in the team with her, since you would be able to trigger a Night's burst every 12 seconds, 9 if you have 3 Nightline characters, but it's more complicated to have 3, at least for now. With the second one, after using the elemental burst, every point of fighting spirit present when it's used increases the damage that the current active party member deals by 0.2%. The maximum increase obtainable this way is 40%, and this effect lasts 20 seconds. So in the Abyss, it's really useful since you start with the burst ready, and this allows you to have the buff from the first rotation. Contrary to that, this buff will slowly weakens until it reaches 0 points, which is not horrible, but a more consistent and permanent buff would have been better. The third one is the usual talent for Nightline characters when they are in Nightland, but in MAVUIKA's case it's different since she has all types abilities. So with her you can fly, walk on water, climb mountains or walls, so she's really useful for exploration. Fourth and last one is really useful. I was waiting for something like this. The Night's transmission cooldown is decreased, so you can switch from an Outland character to another in less time, and that's beautiful for exploration in Outland. Before we uncover her artifacts options, the majority of the viewers are not subscribed, so subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content and make sure to activate the notifications so don't miss out any future guides of your favorite characters. Let's have a look at her artifacts options now. For 2-piece you can use 2-piece attack, Gladiator, Simenawa and all other 2-piece attack you have. 2-piece normal and charge attack, Marishes the Hunter for when she uses her burst. 2-piece burst damage, Noblesse Oblige for the first instance of damage she deals with the burst. And 2-piece pyro damage, Crimson Witch of Flames. For 4-piece she can use Scroll of the Hero of Cinder City, which increases her elemental damage bonus and the elemental damage of the character with the element she triggers a reaction with. This is an option for MAVUIKA as a pure support, but since her support abilities are not that strong or better, they aren't the strongest part of her kit. For MAVUIKA, it's better to have Obsidian Codex, which increases her general damage and crit rate with the full bonus, so you can build her as you want, of course, but if you want to take the most out of of her and her kit, builder with offensive artifact sets. This leads us to must-have Analan characters in the team, not only for her burst but also for scroll set, since she's not wearing it. Last option is the Evergreen Crimson for pyro characters, of course, which increases her elemental damage bonus and elemental reactions damage, but of course it's not the best choice for her. In fact, the rank of her best 4-piece set sees Crimson in 3rd place, Scroll in 2nd place, and Obsidian in 1st place. Main stats are attack on the sand, pyro damage bonus or attack on the goblet, and crit damage on the circlet. Substats are crits, attack, and elemental mastery. Let me know in the comments what you want to use MAVUIKA as, a DPS, sub DPS, or support. Now let's have a look at her weapons options. First option is of course her weapon, 1000 Blazing Sun, which gives her a lot of flat attack and 11% of crit rate, which I know it could sound a scam, but she can use Obsidian and the effect is really strong. It gives the character 20% more crit damage and 28% more attack. Normally in charge attack it increases the duration of the state you have once you use her skill or burst. Also, while in this state, if MAVUIKA is in her Night's Blessing state, she will have 15% more crit damage, so a total of 35% more crit damage, and 17% attack for a total of 45%, and this bonus is at rank 1, so really strong. Another option can be Beacon of the Red Sea, which gives her a lot of attack and crit rate, and also increases her attack if she hits an opponent with the skill, and if she gets hit by an opponent. The HP bonus is useless on her, of course. Third option can be Wolf's Gravestone, which gives her a lot of attack, and the effect increases party members' attack if the opponent has less than 30% HP. And last option is Redorn, but just for crit damage and attack. The effect is useless on her. So let's have a look at 4-star options now. First option is Fruitful Hook, which gives her a lot of attack, and if it increases plunging attack with rate, and after that increases normal, charged, and plunging attacks damage. It works well if you have Shannon, or also if you hold the skill Goldbean Hair, deal plunging attack damage, and then you go with the burst. Blackleaf Slasher, which gives crit damage, and the effect increases attack, but you need to defeat an opponent to activate this effect, so keep in mind that this weapon will only give you crit damage in case of a single boss. Serpent Spine, which gives crit rate and increases the damage you deal, and Luxurious Sea Lord, which increases their attack, and with the effect increases burst damage and gives you a follow-up attack that will deal damage based on the character's attack. If you don't have it, don't even bother looking for it, since this weapon was obtainable through an event in 2.1, so if you were not playing at the time, you don't have it for sure. Let's have a look at the constellations before team comps, so we can understand if there are any constellation needed, or we can play MAVUIKA Z0 still having great performances. With the first one, MAVUIKA's maximum Nightfall points are increased, and she gains Fighting Spirit more efficiently. Additionally, she gains attack for 8 seconds after gaining Fighting Spirit. This constellation is really good, of course. It helps you with her damage, for support, and even for exploration. With the second one, when in the Night's Blessing state, MAVUIKA's base attack is increased, and she obtains 2 different effects based on the skill form. If you have the ring, nearby opponent's defense is decreased, which is really strong for supporting DPS in the team. And if you are on her motorbike, MAVUIKA's normal and charge attacks and her Sunful Slice from Elemental Burst deal a percentage of her attack as increased damage, so really good if you're aiming for a DPS MAVUIKA. The third one increases the level of the burst by 3, really good. The fourth one enhances the effects of her second passive talent. The damage increase gained after using the elemental burst will not decay over time, and an additional 10% damage bonus will be gained. This constellation is really strong, since now you have a bonus in damage of 50% rather than 40%, and it will be 50% for the whole duration of her burst, which means your instance of damage won't decrease from one to another. The fifth increases the level of the skill by 3, and with the last one, the 2 modes of her skill have different improvements. For the ring, when the ring attacks its opponents, a Flame Strider will crash into the struck opponent, dealing 200% of attack as Nightfall Align AU pyro damage. And for the motorbike mode, when MAVUIKA is riding it, she will also summon a ring that will follow her, which will decrease nearby opponent's defense by 20% and deal 500% of attack as Nightfall Align AU pyro damage to nearby opponents once every 3 seconds. MAVUIKA's terrain crossing abilities will also be further improved, and additionally, when MAVUIKA is riding her motorbike and is not in combat, when her Nightfall points drop to 5, she will gain Nightfall points, so now she deals a lot of damage whether she's on her motorbike or not, and whether she is using her skill or burst, so really strong constellation of course. Also, she permanently has Nightfall points, since she will restore them by herself once she reaches 5 points, so she has really good constellation of course, but you can still play her at C0. Now for team comps, first options will be for an outline DPS, since they badly needed MAVUIKA and the role she has in the teams. So in order, we have Mulalani with Nahira, Shilonen, and Mavika. Mulalani has her elemental damage bonus thanks to Shilonen, Nahira gives her extra elemental mastery and keeps pyro on opponents, and Mavika buffs her damage. Then we have Kinich with Mavika, Bennett, and Furina, so it has a lot of buffs, but you can replace Furina with Emily, of course. Chaska goes really well with her, but I think she enjoys more Citlali's presence in her team, so stay tuned for her guide. Out of non-link characters, I think she goes really well with Wriothesley, which fights with normal attacks, and also goes really well with Mavika since she is a pyro character. So the team could be Wriothesley, Mavika, Shilonen, and Kazuha. Another character is Navian, which you always want to use her normal attack after the skill to have shards, and the team could be with Mavika, Shilonen, and Furina. Then you can have an overload team with Cloran, Mavika, Chevres, and Sarah. And last option is potentially the strongest for her as a DPS with Citlali, Shilonen, and Kazuha. As always, these were just examples. You can use Mavika with all elements and characters, so have fun with her and her motorbike, and let me know in which team you like to play her. And that's all you needed to know about our biker Mavika. I hope this video came useful to you. Don't forget to leave a comment on what you think of this incredible character. I remind you to subscribe to the channel and also to my TikTok and Instagram accounts to join me Discord server if you want to participate in the next videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!